So welcome everybody. How are we all doing today? We are my sous chef Andrew is here with us. So we'll get possibly some Zoom pictures on his. So we'll have a two-picture look for you when we start blending. But want to thank you all for joining us. As we look at Vitamix, your community is a huge sponsor or huge user of our equipment, and we want to make sure that we give you the love and we talk to you and we learn from you, because you guys are the experts in your community of how to use our machine to help create that lifestyle, that healthy lifestyle, which you guys are all dedicated to. So as we look at this, it is such a great tool because it makes it easy. You don't have to worry about cutting things up. It just blends it down. We'll always blend it down. We have a tamper. We try to make sure that the whole foods can go in unprocessed and come out nutritionally sound. So that's what we're here, is to give you that tool to not worry about. Like, worry about your diet, worry about that. This tool will always be there for you. Well, I think Carrie said it in the chat, like, I use it multiple times a day. That's what we love to hear. We love to hear people go, I use it multiple times a day, because you know what happens? Carrie will tell other people about it. So we don't even have to do marketing. Like, we're part of our marketing team, but Carrie's our marketing team for us, because that's that community that Brian was talking about. We want to make sure that we can build a community as well and listen. So my job and Andrew's job here is to listen to you all. You guys send in your recipes to us over our community. Send us them so that we can recreate, share with the world what you guys do. As we look, just give a thumbs up if you can on your screen. How many people own a Vitamix? Awesome. And like Brian said, it's 16 years old, I think, is the first time he bought it. And you're still using the same machine, right, Brian?
Yep, I still have the same machine.
So what we'll talk about a little bit today is the new machine that will raffle off at the end of it. So you have to stay on, and so that you can be part of this raffle. So this is our Ascent series, and this is our newest series. And what this allows us to do is come up with a little bit more technology and give our users, our consumers, a little bit more versatility. So with this, this is a different machine than most of you have. So as I talk about this machine, we'll talk about this new container. It's a little bit wider than most people are used to, and a little bit, it's the same volume, but it blends up differently. So we'll talk about the differences that you can see, and then also really talk about the power of it and how we can do this. We'll also talk about the 100th anniversary that we're in. Like we talked about earlier, we're in our 100th anniversary. We call him Papa Barnard. He started off doing can openers, so that during the Depression, that people used to use knives to open up the cans. They would, cut yourself. If every chef has used a knife to open a can at one point or another, and every time you do it, you go, I might cut my hand off. Well, it used to be more commonplace back in the day, and so a can opener was an amazing tool to help them get fruits and vegetables during the winter. So whether it was canned, whether it was the can opener became an important part of this. In the 30s, all of a sudden, Papa Barnard was out looking for, another tool, and he found a blender. And then in the 80s is when we really got big on it. People started copying us. People started selling the blender themselves and talking the whole food health and everything. And so they were like, what can we do to make sure that our users, our consumers, really have the best product? So we decided to make our own blender. So we stopped selling it and created a powerful blender. And so high performance blending, I really feel is critical for a raw vegan diet, because you can grind those nuts, you can grind dates, you can get all those whole foods, fiber, all that into your ingredients, so into your final product. So by having this, the longevity, back in the day, Brian, you probably bought it and it was, $500.
Yeah.
16 years later, $500 doesn't seem like a lot, does it? And a lot of people will sit there and go, you know what, I bought another product. And with this lifestyle, you're going to push it to the limits. If it breaks in a year, if it breaks in 2 years, that's not worth it. So having this and having it as part of your life is the important part that we look at as our product really helping out. As we go through this book, the book isn't all raw vegan. It does do some cooking, but what we did is we took recipes from our employees, from the history of the company, from our raving fans and some of our influencers, and pulled it all together to create. It is mostly a vegan diet in here. Some are cooked, some are raw, but plant forward, really making sure that the plant is part of the equation and understanding that you can get everything you need in your daily life from a plant-based diet and from a vegan diet. People are looking at protein. You can get all the protein you need in your diet from plants. It's a celebration of our time, our timeline, our history. Jody Berg is the 4th generation owner, president of our company. So the whole family has been it. We are a privately owned company. So it's a dynamite place to work. And as you guys, those users that are using it throughout the day are sitting there going, it's a vital part of their diet. So what we want to do is we have really simple recipes, but there's stories behind each recipe, which is the more important thing, is to understand what we are trying to do and why people use these. So we are here in the Ruth Barnard Culinary Center. Why do we call it the Ruth Barnard Culinary Center? Because it is Jody Berg's grandmother. She's the one who wrote the first cookbook for us. She's the one that is influential in how we bring whole foods to life in the blender. And so, back in 39, in the cookbook, we referenced the date to our historic recipes. 1939, making applesauce. Why not make applesauce every day of the year? Make it fresh, make it from whatever apples you have in your neighborhood, whatever. We're in Ohio, we get a lot of great apples. Anybody in Washington? Because Washington has the best apples, I swear. Washington State, sorry. My daughter's name is Alice, and so we just went to Whole Foods and got some Lady Alice apples. They're dynamite. So as you look at this, we always just sort of go in here. Like I said, we have this new container. It's a little wider, and what that means, it's got a wider base. Quebec has the best apples. That's a challenge. I got to check that one out. I like that. I like a challenge. So we'll write that one down and make sure that we are checking out Quebec apples. Going back, the blades are so important to us. They're stainless steel, they're laser cut, but they have a slightly dulled edge. So like I can pinch it and not slice myself. Big key about that is we pulverize things. We break things down to small pieces. And what does that do? Intensify flavor. So by blending, you're getting all these flavors from these apples and really bringing out the flavor. So we're going to add some cinnamon. We're going to add some lemon to this, just lemon. We're putting the lemon in, we're blending it up. So as we do this, what's happening is we're intensifying the flavor. We're getting all those good nutrients out of it and really having a fun time. So as we look at this, apples, we quart it, depending on what you want, go ahead and do whatever, but we just put them all in. And I'm putting them all in, and as you can see, I got a full container worth. As we look at the lemon, we always talk about how we peel them. We peel them so that the pith comes off. The pith is bitter, but depending on how you do it, you can leave the pith in, especially if you have that sweetness. But it's personal preference of how you want to do it, so that if you put in a slice of lemon with the rind on it, this machine's going to pulverize it through so that you get that oils, you get that zest, you get the fiber of it. So depending on how you like it, go ahead, try it with the whole lemon, peel and everything on. So it's all personal preference on that. As I work with this, what I want to do is seal the lid, click, it's on. So some of our new, like if you notice, we have that clear lid now, so I can see it all the way through. That click, you can hear it. The older lids did not have that click, so you're never sure if you had it on right. How many people have painted their ceiling with their blend? Yes, everybody has. We took that into account. you have that sound for the new machines. So just some of those little inventions that our engineering team is always looking at is dynamite. So Ruth Barnard started with these cookbooks, and throughout the history of it was there for her family, and they're trying to help Papa Barnard create the machine that the user can use to do it. So I'm just going to blend real quick here. As we look at this, you now have a digital display, as you can see. We have on the A2500, which is our raffle today, we have 3 programs: a smoothie program, a frozen dessert, and a hot soup if you wanted it. Now, keeping it raw, this machine will heat with a long period of time. So just be aware of that, and be aware that as you are working through it, the longer you blend, the more heat you will generate from friction. There's no heater on this or anything like that. It is just the speed of the blades creating. So time will create the heat. So as you think about it, trying to keep a raw diet, I believe just in my head off the top, somewhere below 105 degrees, 100, 105, somewhere in there. So I'd say no more blending, 115, thank you. I always get 105, but like Andrew sits there and yells at me whenever we talk about caramelization for caramels. Like he's super science guy. I'm just a chef. But about 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes, you can blend for and keep it under that temperature. So just remember that as you're blending, trying to keep a raw diet, 115, keep it below 2 to 3 minutes and you'll be good. So with this, I'm just going to turn it on. One of our new safety features of the machine, I take it off, I can't turn it on. You see that it's there. So a little bit of safety features for those, with kids or whatnot. So put it back on, it registers. We'll talk about some of the other features that we have later, but yes, all Vitamix heat that same way. So if you're blending a small amount of time, you're never gonna heat. If you have ice in it or the like, you're never gonna heat. But if you put something in there, blend it for 3 minutes, it's gonna generate heat. So just remember that. So what we're gonna do is turn it on, blend for about a minute there, get everything processed down, and we'll go. We're gonna blend on high speed as well. Oh, I went the wrong way. So that's all we had to do for this. So as we look at this, this is just a nice smooth puree, which is dynamite. And you grab a nice little photo of what we're doing here. So Andrew will be taking a little look of this. Jeffrey, if we can put it on Andrew's, that'd be great. So with this, you can make your applesauce chunky. You can make it by pulsing it. So we have a pulse feature on here. You can make it however you want it to your liking. So pureeing on a high speed will give you that perfect silky smooth applesauce. And then you can hold this in your refrigerator for however long. The brightness of this comes from the skins. All that nutrition in the skins is dynamite. And then the instant flavor that you get from a freshly pureed applesauce is dynamite. So as we work with this, what we always like to talk about as well is just, you store it and then we want to clean the machine. One of the easy things about cleaning the machine is just taking a little bit of warm water. A drop or two of dish soap. Make sure you get everything out of your container. And then you can just turn it on again. So now I'm just ready to go for my next blend. And it's nice and simple. That's the best. Like, simplicity is so good. Oh, perfect. Sylvie did not know about the cleaning aspect of it. This is one thing that we always try to teach people is just how to really do simplistic things, really go into the ease of it. So next is, our smoothies. As we talk about smoothies, we don't know, we haven't found out like who is the originator of a green smoothie. We feel we might be, but we're not sure. But I love doing different smoothies, and right now the trend for smoothies is functional ingredients. And so in this smoothie, we have raw turmeric and raw ginger in here. Really great flavor. Really dynamite spice that you put to the smoothie, and that refreshingness that you get when you're blending with this. This is such a super easy smoothie, but we really, it's packed full of fruit. You can add some vegetables to it if you wanted to, but we'll talk a little bit about this. This is a recipe from one of our raving fans, Terry Eschels. She uses this smoothie to really help give to her children. That's one of those great things about the story is like, as we got these recipes in from folks, I was, just enamored with everybody that was like, hey, I use this for my weight loss. This has brought me along this journey where, one gentleman lost about 100 pounds and he used a papaya smoothie every day. Like that was his regime. And that's what allowed him to really make sure he got his goal. With Terry, this is all about how she provides for her family and really goes into talking about, my kids will eat it, my kids will drink it. And so, we always talk about our starter smoothie. Our starter smoothie is a green smoothie. It's called the Hint of Mint smoothie. Green grapes, pineapple, spinach, some mint, and some ice, a little bit of water. What that does is that little bit of mint gets intensified. But somebody coming in is not going to go straight kale smoothies. Straight kale smoothies might be a little bit gross if you're not used to it. So, Brian, I bet your first smoothie was probably somewhere on the fruit, maybe a spinach because you were going healthy. But spinach is so mild, you can't. You can't just jump in and go, hey, I'm just diving in. Like, there's a few people that can go cold turkey on whatever, jump in and be like, I am doing this right off the bat. You have to start off with something you like. So, with oranges, you just have.
Join the meeting.
It's like, somebody's got a question. But oranges, strawberries. Strawberries, you don't even need to take off the stems if you don't want to. Oranges, if you wanted to leave the peel on, again, remember the bitterness from the pith is tough. Blueberries, those are giant blueberries. Look at this guy. I mean, that thing is huge. We have our turmeric and ginger, so pieces of it. The machine, the Vitamix is just saying blend these down and pulverize it so that you intensify that flavor, and then a little bit of ice. So with this, I'm just going to use our smoothie program on this one so that we have it. So just going back, smoothie program. On this one, 50 seconds. You can walk away, forget about it. Sometimes I forget about a lot of things, right, Andrew? I might be a little more space cadetty than he is, but this allows me to like, hey, blend it, walk away, and also the kingdom of blueberries. You only need one to make a pie. So it's ramping up, starting to grind those down so that any smoothie can be processed.
Adam, if we want to keep it room temperature, how's the ice? I guess we can substitute ice with water?
He probably can't hear you right now.
Yeah, I know.
So as we look at this smoothie, what I love about it is just that intense flavor that you get from ginger and turmeric. Cheers. If anybody else is blending along, cheers. But I can smell it like that as you do it. Yes, Larissa.
If we want to keep it to room temperature, just water instead of ice?
Yes, just water instead of ice. So if it would be about a cup of water. Yeah. So, the one thing that we do see, especially when we talk about our international reach is, the US, we use ice. We use frozen ingredients a lot. When we go into our Asian markets, it is one of those things where we might use 1 or 2 ice cubes. And that is enough for that market. Depending on the oranges, that might be enough liquid as well. It might be a little bit thicker. So this is a thinner smoothie. So however you like it is really what we try to talk about is, learning what you like. The West Coast, they seem to have like a little bit more textured smoothie than most. But you sit there and you go, how do I make it to what I like? And I always start with ingredients that I like. So I'm a huge fan of oranges. Oh, that one's good. That one's real good. I'm just gonna keep this to the side. Okay, so I have that off to the side. What we also talk about is just make a huge batch of smoothies, pour it in a cup so that you put it in the refrigerator. Whenever you want that snack, you can have one. You can pull it out, shake it up a little bit, drink it down. The more fruits and vegetables in it, the more fiber is going to be in it, the more it will hold. Another thing is if you do like the frozen one, frozen mangoes. Frozen mangoes are a key to holding a smoothie. Well, one of our tricks, but love the flavor of it, love the sweetness in it, but it will hold a smoothie together in the refrigerator a lot longer. So that fiber from it will really create that nice dense smoothie that you can drink the whole time. If you're using ice, they'll separate quickly because that ice turns into water and then the fiber and the water separate. So all you have to do is shake those up and you'll be good to go. So one great thing is vinaigrette salads. When you're in a raw vegan diet, just having a nice green salad or a vegetable salad is dynamite. So as we look at this, how do I create just a nice raw vegan dressing as you look at it? And so vinegars are important, dates are important, fresh fruits and the like are important. So what we really love to do is just use the fruits again. So use fruits to create thickness. So if you're not using like a raw pressed oil and you don't want to use oils, make sure you're using the whole fruits and the like to create a nice dressing. So as we look at this, we have some raspberries. We use dates for sweetness, which is a dynamite sweetener on it. You pulverize it, they will get pulverized down to nothing in our blender. We have our lime, we have our fresh herbs, And then we have vinegar. And then whatever else, garlic is going in this. So remember when I said that the Vitamix intensifies flavor? Using garlic is a difficult thing. One of those things is where to buy medjool dates. I'll talk about that real quick, but garlic will intensify. Raw onions will intensify. So if you're trying to make this vinaigrette or a dressing and you're using garlic, a little goes a long way. So that intensification, probably that one is good for me as you work in it. So with this, I'm just saying blend this up as is. So with this, we have this nice dressing that's going to be there. We'll have a nice thickness to it. We can taste it. We can see how it is. The bulk medjool dates, we have a lot of ethnic stores in the U.S. Where they'll come in nice big bulk and fairly inexpensive when you deal with those. So that's what I do. If you're going to a regular grocery store in the Midwest, we have whether it's a Giant Eagle or Heinen's, those are sort of more local, regional. You will find it in smaller packages, and they get fairly expensive when you're using it. As you work with a dressing, any herb will go into this. So, basil, chives, whatever you want, make it your own. We have a nice little garden out front, which we'll be planting soon. So we have all our own. We'll do the basil. We'll do chives and the like. So all we're going to do is blend on, starting off at 1, blend on high speed for about 20 seconds. This will polarize anything. We'll taste it, make sure we're good to go. That smells good. That's good with me. So bold flavors in this is what I really like, especially when you have your arugula or a nice sort of bitter peppery herb lettuce that you do. And always remember, taste your vinaigrette, your dressings with whatever you're serving. Because what happens is if you don't taste it with this, it can be really, really overpowering or not be enough. Whenever we talk sort of in restaurants, you sit there and you might have an iceberg wedge. They serve it with a ranch dressing because that ranch dressing is bland versus the bland iceberg lettuce. Well, having a nice peppery arugula, you will want a nice big bold vinaigrette. So always taste it with this. And that raspberry comes out really well with it. So as we look at it, the other big key, the blender will pulverize all those raspberry seeds or the strawberries that you had before. All those seeds are pulverized down and really, it's that smooth texture that you're used to. So just a nice, great little recipe there. And then I will finish up with that unique dessert.
Adam, I have a couple of questions. So if we want to substitute oil and vinegar, what's our options?
Lemon juice, any of the juices, fresh juices, orange juice, whatever juice you wanted, and just using the whole fruit. So, the raspberries can be on its own and have a little bit of water to help that texture to get a little bit smoother. So basically your waters, if you wanted to, you can make a juice in the blender. You can use cashews and waters. In the book, we have a nice recipe, which is an orange sesame dressing. And so it used cashews and sesame seeds with oranges, and then create it with water, and that creates a nice raw dressing that you could do. So those are just dynamite ways to create that flavor and the like. So was that the only question, Larissa?
Yeah, that was good answer. If we
Perfect.
trying to stay with the whole fruit
Yeah.
and veg.
Orange, sesame, and cashews. So now what we're going to do is work a little bit with the desserts. As we look at this, we love having avocados really rich in healthy fats, lots of flavor, lots of just great nutrients. When we start talking, we always talk about like sort of eating the rainbow. It's as simplistic as possible, but if you think about it, it's a no-brainer. If I can eat red peppers, if I can eat avocados, greens, reds, oranges, whatever the like, I know I'm getting the nutrients I need. I know I'm getting all those healthy ingredients, and I know it's good for my body. So the more I can do that, the happier I am. So with this dessert, it's just this chocolate avocado pudding. Our demonstrators use this every single day as sort of a closing recipe. They sit there and they go, they showed you a smoothie, they showed you a dressing, the soups and everything that the machine can do. And then they go, check out this healthy recipe and check this out. So it's just avocados. And as we look at this, the recipe says for 2 avocados. We went with 4 because of this container. This container needs a little bit more volume than you're used to. And then our almond milk is made from the Vitamix. So almonds, water, blended down, and then we use that to create our almond milk. We have our dates again. So nice dates. And then cocoa nibs, carrot powder, blending it up. So have that little chocolatiness, have all these nice whole foods in them. And then as I work with it, we want to make sure again that I have my tamper ready to push the ingredients down into the container and really get this moving. When you work with avocados, they have that nice creaminess to it. And so therefore, with this liquid and that, it'll create that pudding texture in a raw format. So having my tamper ready, 1. So these are all nice quick blends. I don't need to worry about it. I have my container here. So as we look at it, it's got that nice texture in it, nice firmness to it. I taste it from my side. Delicious. So you have that nice little hint of chocolate to the avocados, the sweetness from the dates. Really just a nice little textured dessert for you. One of the questions is, can I replace tangerines in place of? Yes. We always, like, when we do a recipe, we have sort of that, here's are the ingredients that will make a good recipe. You can switch out oranges for tangerines. You can switch out whatever fruit for whatever other fruit. If it's a raspberry, if it has a liquid content to it, change out raspberries for oranges if you wanted to. Change out greens for other greens. Yes, you can make it. When we do nice creams, what we always do is frozen bananas and just use this and whatever flavoring you want. Frozen bananas and pulverize them down to create that nice cream is the dynamite way. So as we look at this, trying to use what you like and just sort of look at it as, hey, I have oranges, or what do I have in my refrigerator? What do I have in my pantry that I can blend and create whatever this recipe says? Maybe try it. And a great way is, if you have something on the last leg, whether it's freezing it and then blending it, or just using it in your morning smoothie or the like, you can always do that. Yes, you always, whenever making a frozen dessert, you want to have some liquid. When we have the traditional container, that tall, skinny one that probably most of you have, we recommend 1 cup of liquid to 1 pound of frozen ingredients. That way you just sort of have this, and that is 250 milliliters to 450 grams for those international folks. We got that in our head now. But we just use that to really go into it of like, how do we do this? So those are the 4 recipes we had for y'all. Like Larissa said, we are celebrating our 100th anniversary. You'll see more activations. This is one of our first activations that we've had this year. So the book goes on sale on April 27th. You can pre-order it on our website. You can pre-order it on Amazon. But it is one of those historical books that really talks about how our journey through Whole Foods has happened over this 100 years, from a can opener beginning to the introduction to a blender to being in hundreds of businesses, whether they're smoothie shops, coffee shops, or the like, using our blenders to create delicious food. So thank you all for your time. And whatever question you have, go ahead and reach out to us. And then if you wanted to check out our website, Vitamix.com, join our Vitamix fan club rewards program, and you can get little tips and tricks from us. And then as we continue our world here in Vitamix, we will continue reaching out to y'all.
Thank you, Adam.
Can you get excuse me, Adam, can you get the clear lids for the older blenders, or they have to buy a new one?
No, these are all on our newest containers. And as you look at a container for the older machines, you can get a 48-ounce clear container that goes backwards for those smaller machines, for like a 5200 if you have the 5200 or something like that. So you just give our 800 number a call, 1-800-VITAMIX. Our customer care is amazing. I will say they're amazing no matter what. They are dynamite. They'll walk you through what is compatible with your machine, help you understand, if it will work on an older machine versus a new machine or what you have. So.
Great job, Adam. Hey, you're getting lots of really positive feedback in the chat room and lots of compliments.
I have it up on my right-hand side. Like, we have this big screen here. And so like, it's perfect for presentations, except I keep looking at YouTube, Brian and Larissa up on the top left corner. So instead of at the camera, that's why I'm always like, oh, what are you guys up to?
Well, I want to express our appreciation, I guess, from everyone for amazing, informative presentation. You definitely have a dynamite tool to present here today. And that's, with the dynamite tool, you created dynamite foods. It's interesting that we started the journey with Whole Foods, and we're still going through for 100 years. It just, to me, it's so important to remember that we have to concentrate on whole foods. And that's what Let's Cook are all about, and all our philosophy, and what we're trying to help people to stay on. And Adam, appreciate Vitamix being on that side. And I actually would like to ask you a question and tell us, what's the future look for Vitamix? What do you work? What's in works? What's the ideas? What's feeds you in the future?
So as we talk about this, it is really important right now. We've updated our marketing team, and we're really focused on how the Whole Foods helps us in the next 100 years. So important part about that is with COVID, with health crises, people realize how important food is to their life. The disruption in the availability of food. foods is a key component of how restaurants and that food service is going to work, trying to be more local, trying to be more whole foods, so that processing goes away, So how do we be the part of the next 100 years of whole food, and whole food health is really important to us. And as you see, what we're going to be talking about in the future is, not only the blending, this is a tool, but how do we look at the health and wellness of a person, and not like that's eating, that's mental, that's working out. You can lose weight, but by just eating less food, but how do you get the nutrients you need in your body, and to help you be more active, to help you, think more. If you're not eating healthy, your brain's not working as well. It's not as sharp. So all those things play into eating a plant-forward diet, plant-based diet, vegan diet. So all those things, being sharper. So that's what we're into.